I said on one of his retirements in Detroit, I enjoyed every high sticky moment. He's been my idol, and I go back to when I was 10 years old, about the same age that Wayne met him. My mother and father and I took the train from Belleville, Ontario to Toronto. We rushed it outside of Maple Leaf Gardens, stood in the sleet and the rain to get a chance to stand behind the Blues. That's when you could stand behind the Blues. And my dad said, Robert, as soon as that turnstile turns and you go through it, you go up those stairs until that red turns to blue, and then he said, do a sharp right. And I was in Maple Leaf Gardens all by myself, other than the ushers, and everything was so pristine. And we stood right at the blue line that Toronto would defend twice. And I held my arms out until my mother and father got there. And on towards the end of the first period, Mr. Gordie Howe stepped over the blue line and snapped those big hands and wrists of his. And Al Rollins was in goal for Toronto. And he turned and pulled the puck out of the net behind him. My dad looked at me and he said, Robert, when you can shoot the puck like that, you could play in this league. And after the game, I got his autograph, and it was just 8 short years later that I was playing against Gordon and with Ted Lindsay, one of his line mates. And it's just been a wonder that first year to be able to play on the same ice as guys like Gordie and Belliveau and Richard, et cetera. But it was the second year that I found out what kind of an individual he was. I played on a line with Eric Nestoreko and Ron Murphy, and we played against all the big lines. Mahavlich in Toronto, Belliveau in Montreal, Bathgate in New York, the Ukes in Boston, and in Detroit we played against Gordon, whomever he was playing with. And I want to tell you, that was some feat. You had to be on the bit every time that you were out there against him. And first time that I met him, we went in the penalty box together. And God, I thought, he's quite a gentleman. He stood there and opened the door for me in the Olympia in Detroit. And I thought, well, he's not that bad. So I went in and sat down. We sat next to one another. He never offered to elbow me or high stick me in there. And when the penalty, I knew as soon as the penalty was up, why he let me in first. Because when the door opened, he went out, and then he slammed the door on me. And I knew then that he was all business.